Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And the 2-year anniversary is upon us with the release of the new Shizu and Hinata, who have very, very striking art styles. Some people like them, some people don't. I do find them enjoyable because they are a much, much different look than, this Shizu. Which I don't mind this Shizu, but definitely the art styles. Very different. And I like some change here and there. But Shizu is space, she is magic, she's a sword, she's on Wielder of Magic, World of Fantasy, Heart of a Hero, and Fount of Wisdom. She is an attack growth unit. She has a single target ult for 490, no additional effect. She's just damage. Her first skill is a skill reset. And it does have to be used in a very specific order, which we'll go over during the actual showcase. And then she also gives all souls a skill point increase for 1 turn. You only can use this once per fight, though, so it is a fire and forget kind of thing. But at the same time, it doesn't cost anything, so it's not bad. Her second skill increases all magic allies' ult gauge by 30%, and then ult resistance down on everybody by 25% for 2 turns. This can be useful, but you are limited to magic teams, and specifically burst teams, because 25% is not going to cut it on a big-time stacking meta, right? You want that Violet 55%, or at least the Raphael 50. 25 is kind of meh, even if it does last for 2 turns. So you're limited to a magic team and a burst team, which unfortunately there's only a few relevant burst magic teams in the game right now, if you don't include the current meta. So I will attempt to use it, and we'll see how it goes. But Shizu, I think, will, just like the Wind Shizu before her, will get better with age. I don't think there's a lot of teams that she can be used on right now. In the future, though, when we get more burst magic, then I think she'll, again, rise to a top-tier playability level. But for now, outside of her current meta, I think she's just okay. Just okay. She's not super-duper great. She's usable, most definitely, but not like a top-tier option away from other units that would maybe give a little bit more. But let's dive in and let's figure out how she works in her team and a few others that I can think of. Alright, so first we're going to take her team, the Wielder of Magic team, into Inferno 1 beatdown battle. Shizu's with Milim and Ranga, so we have Shuna and Rain as non-Wielder of Magic, but still technically magic units. Logic me that, please. But they will be here for support. Shizu is very much a supporting unit to Shinsha. She's supposed to reset skill costs, probably for the orange buffs that Shinsha and Ranga have, maybe the orb change for Ranga, and also give a little bit of ult gauge to Shinsha, just in case maybe you don't get the 3 Shinsha orbs on turn 2, which would guarantee her EX ult. Shizu will help with that. But character model-wise, Shizu looks really, really good because of that glowing effect she has on her sword, and of course it cut to Shuna. But I mean, I like this. This is very, very nice. Like the 2D art style is very striking. The in-game model, I mean, you can say what you want about the costume maybe being a bit boring, but I think the colors and kind of like the bone armor do fit a Halloween theme still. But then this friggin' lightsaber that she's got, I love it. I love both hers and Hinata's. So, because Shizu is on Wielder of Magic and Ranga is also Wielder of Magic, we can use the orb change now and not worry about not changing the orb. So, let's bring in Shinsha for Shuna, and we'll go ahead and run with this, because I want to make an example out of the next turn, in case you didn't see the Should You Summon video where I kind of explained it more. So 12k, awesome. We haven't really done much, but this next turn is going to be where things get a little interesting. So, okay, well, yes, this is actually a perfect turn where we would need to use it. So, her skill reset. You have to use it out of place with another orb, with another skill. So, like Ranga's orb change, we need it, because we have 4 greens, and Milim's only going to change 3 of them. So we want to use Ranga's orb change now, but I don't really want to use it at 45 cost. So if I were to do this and this in any other logical setting where you would assume that the skill reset would take effect first, and then it would reset the cost of this, that's not actually the case, because it's already taking 45 points away from your pool. So this is not active right here. This will cut in, and it will drop this back down to 25, but then it'll immediately go back to 45 because you've used it again. So it doesn't do what you want to do. So in order to reset this now, I have to use this skill out of context, and then, now that it's back to 25, now I can use it for the reduced cost. If I were to do both, it would charge me 45, and it would look like I used it again, and it wouldn't accomplish what we wanted it to do. So if you want to reset the costs of specific skills, like if I had this entire board at 45 cost, and then this one's still active, if I wanted to change all of these, I would have to use this skill, use it, and then go back, and then all these would be reset, and then I could use them. So that is the one small thing to keep in mind. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and use it, change those, perfect. We'll get Milim in here to give us the Pierce, and then we can use the Ranga and Shinsha buffs, because now we have 70 points, and it'll be looking fairly good. I don't have to use this skill right now, because Shinsha is guaranteed to get her 3 orbs to get the EX ult, which is good. We'll also get the EX ult with Shizu, so that'll be good because this is also her showcase, right? Perfect. Absolutely perfect right there. 17k, 37k, really good damage for turn 2. This is Inferno 1, so it's not, the tippity top, but it's still fairly high. Okay, so... I should have brought Rain in for Ranga. That was a misplay. Oh well. Let's... You know what? Let's put it on Shizu, because she's the reason why we're here. So let's put the Rain buff at full power, at the full 40% on Shizu, and then we'll swap her away. And that gets us this ugly hand. this terrible hand. Let's do that, because that'll get his ult as well. And plus more points. So, next turn, we're going to have 130 points to play with. And we need to use 55 plus 50. And we will have enough. So, actually, that works out very well. So, let's use the alt buff here. Lower the water resistance, which is only going to help Shinsha, but still, whatever. We'll bring you in for Rain, and we'll bring you in for Shuna. Okay. And then we'll use the EX buff, so Shinsha herself will get a 43% attack buff, but both her and Shizu will get an additional 50% because they both have EX ults. So there we go, there's the extra little indicator right there. So 70 plus the 50. And then we'll use Milim to give them the Pierce rate, which I think they already have still anyways. But now we have enough points to also use this skill, which would give everybody 30% ult gauge. It's only going to matter on Ranga, because, we're capped out here. But it's also going to lower the ult resistance of the enemy by 25%. And then we're going to full nuke on turn 4. Let's go ahead and send Ranga, and then the Shizu orbs, the Shizu ult, which I'm fairly certain is going to kill, and then we'll send Shinsha last. Although, I think we canceled her ult already, because we've already watched it today. We haven't seen Ranga's ult, but, we'll watch it for the next showcase if we get it. Alright, Ranga does 39k. Cool, whatever. 7,000 a hit, not the greatest, but he does have guard up now. And then her ult does 247, so not a kill. And then Shinsha does double that. Shinsha does have another 50% attack buff, though, that Shizu does not, alongside being type advantage, so that's why. But, I mean, there was that. We used both of her skills, I would say, effectively. And we didn't need to ult rush because we got really lucky on the oranges on turn 2 and only got hers and Shinsha's. But if we were to get like 2 Shinsha orbs, we could then use her skill and give us that extra 30%. So Shizu works again on a burst magic focused team. which this one is, let's try and find a different one that we can put her on where she would make sense. Alright, so next we're going to go into the Dark 2.0 Tempered Edge stage, because it is a green stage that needs magic characters. And we're going to bring the Goddess of Destiny team, which is a green-focused magic team that's also burst. So we can hopefully attempt to make use of Shizu's skills here to help out the Shuna and the rest of this team do damage. Now we're missing the hero, right? The hero 2.0, who is also on World of Fantasy, who would be able to swap out Shuna's alt orb for her own to therefore help us achieve more full hands of greens or whatever. But instead, we're going to try and just force the alt on Shuna without having to worry about it, while also being able to reset Shuna's orb steal one time to make it still a 30 cost thing. So hopefully this works out the way I want it to. Let's see if it actually happens. Alright, turn 1, we did bring the skill point units, so we get 42 to start out with, so we can use the Isis buff and the orb change. We're going to hold off on using Rains, because that's got the crit resistance, which will help us do more damage later on. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to run it like this. Let's bring Shizu in for Isis, and none of us have type advantage, so it's going to be just the strongest unit, which will be Soka, because she's 120. So max points, we got a protection gauge, so we're ready to go. Okay, cheeky counter, why not? Hopefully we get 3 orbs right here. If not, we'll just cut until we do get 3 orbs, because I want to make this efficient. Okay, hilarious. Okay, here we go. We got 3 orbs of somebody. It doesn't matter who, but it's somebody. So, let's go ahead and use the Future Green skill, and then that'll guarantee that next turn will be good. And then we'll bring Shuna in to steal the Soka orbs, and then we'll be looking real good. So 40, 70 skill points used right there. If we wanted, we could also use the Alt Rush ability. Let's see how much gauge this gets Shuna first off. Okay, not a lot. Not a lot right there. Next turn will be very good, though. So let's go ahead and pop this. Let's get maximum points and the follow-up damage plus the crit. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Cool. Doesn't quite get her ult, which actually works out better than normal, because if we got the ult next turn, it would have actually kind of messed up our hand. But here, we're going to get that full hand of green and call it good. Perfect. And we didn't get a lot of Shuna orbs, which we can, we can deal with that. So, because we want to use this skill at lower cost, and we also want to use Soka's skill at lower cost, what we're going to do here is we're going to swap Rain out. And then, again, like I showed earlier, if I wanted to use both these skills and this, right, it's already taking 50 points away from me. So doing the skill reset, even in this order, wouldn't actually do anything for me. So in order for me to actually effectively use it, I need to skill reset first, and then, now that we're at the lower cost, we can go ahead and make use of this. So we're going to steal into 4 Shuna orbs, which should get the ult for her, because they're green boosted. Yeah, okay. So if it didn't, we could have used this skill, which I'm going to use it anyways. So this will get Shizu's ult as well, along with max points, EX ult, almost a double protector right there. We're looking fairly good. We're on turn 3 now, so we're going to lose out on a bit of damage from Rain, because now we're past the turn limit, and now she's only down to 20% magic buff. It should be fine, though, because we'll have 2 EX ults. And because Shizu is magic, she's actually getting that crit buff from Mirren, where the Hero 2.0 was physical, and she was not. So this does work out a little bit better. So, let's go ahead and use the attack buff. Let's use Shuna's personal buff. The alt resistance down is already on, so we don't have to worry about that. We'll bring Rain in, and then we'll use the magic resistance down, and the magic buff, and then the crit resistance down. Because now it's turn 4, the Isis buff has worn off, but now the greens are back online, and then we'll use Mirren to get that extra alt damage that I have a charm on for. So, I mean, we're looking fairly good. We're only on turn 4. We've got 19.4k attack, 40% attack right here from Soka, 25% light buff, 50% crit damage, 20% magic buff. We've got, what is it? 8% on that. So let's go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Perfect. 30,000, 3,000. Oh, I think he has the crit resistance on right now. No, he does. Alright, well, we should have waited. That's the 119k. Do we actually... How much? 23? Okay. Not quite. Alright, well, I mean, yeah, that was a pretty good turn right there. Let me come back and let me show off the true damage that this team is going to be able to do. Okay, so we are back on turn 8 now. All of his defense is gone. He does have the ult resistance down. I do have the EX ult ready to go for Shuna, but unfortunately I had a slight misplay, and I left one of the support units up front last turn. My bad. So we're only going to be able to EX nuke with the Shuna at full power, because I need both the magic buff and the attack buff. So unfortunately Shizu's being pushed off, but we still have 3 ults right here, so we'll use the magic buff, we'll use the attack buff, and that is everything. I already have the light and the crit damage buff from Shuna herself on, so let's go ahead and add the crit from Murin, and now we can do a full-powered ult that's not nerfed by his massive crit damage defense. So, and we do have enough points here to use the Orb Steal, because, why not? So we'll do 1, 2, 3, and then we'll send these. So how much damage we do here? It's the same buffs as last time. 50k right there, and the EX ult does 214. So it did about double. Okay. I mean, that's fair damage. Again, this is a burst team, so going to turn 8 is not what you want to do, but also the stage has a lot of crit defense, and it's meant for a green stacking magic team. But I think along the way, we were able to use her skills quite efficiently, because we were able to reset the orb change, or the orb steal, and then the future orb skill from Soka, reset the orb steal, and those are very important skills for this team in particular, so the less they cost, the better. So she does fit on this team quite well, so I'm not disappointed in that. It's just now, after this team, our options get a little limited, because, I mean, we're just going to hop over. There aren't any other magic EX teams, right, that are burst. So we have a magic stacking, well, no, physical stacking, magic stacking, physical stacking, the current meta, physical burst, magic long-term defensive fight where I don't want ults, physical, and magic. So we only have one realistic damage output, traditional damage output team that is burst magic focused. Can't count Velzard. Vengeance is its own beast. So this eliminates a lot of teams that you could put her on to be totally efficient on, because all the other units are physical, and they won't get the magic buff from Shizu, or they're a stacking team that are magic, and you're not looking for immediate ults, you're looking for a lot of blue orbs, and you don't want to really interrupt that. So we're going to take her on a few other not EX teams and see how well she does, but I think this is where her wall is, her usability wall, and then she's going to start dropping off really hard. Alright, so this is going to be the final team of the video. There does exist a Magic Space Burst team by itself. Unfortunately, it is a team that needs probably not a skill that raises your ult gauge, because we're getting 40% ult gauge every turn from Ramaris, 15, 15, 15. I mean, 30% here is now just stupid overkill when none of these characters are EX units. But she is space and she is magic, and she does fit under Ramaris, and there is a decent stage that we can take them into. So we're going to show off Space 3.0, the last meta to exist before EX units, and also the last meta to be added to the general pool. And, this, in theory, should work, and we're just going to be overflowing with ult gauge on this team now. Alright, I think this is the best starting hand we're gonna get. We have 3 oranges that we can burn, and then we got another green coming, and we got our orb changers here, so we should be good. Let's just bring in Shion, and we'll send these. And then everyone, well, 2 of them are space, but we have orb changers, and we have our AoE DPS unit up front. Perfect, that works out just fine. Do we have enough to use the green buff and the orange convert? Do we have... We should have... Yeah, we should have 40. Alright, so orange and then the Isis buff. This will get us a lot of gauge, and then we'll be pretty much ready to go. Because the Romorous team is a very wonky team. It's also a very hilarious team, because you just get so much alt gauge every single turn. Because Romorous gives you this skill for 3 turns that gives you 40% alt gauge just for free at the end of the turn. And it's crazy. So, we'll go ahead and... Pierce buff here. We'll go ahead and charm you. We'll charm you as well. We don't need to use any orb changes, since we just have a full hand of Sokka, so I'm not really concerned about that. Let's do this now. And we'll give us the 40% for 3 turns, plus the 2 charms right there, which is another 30%. So we're getting 70% alt gauge on this next turn, and then it'll drop down to 55% on turn 2 and 3, or the next 2nd and 3rd turns. But I mean, yeah, we don't need alt gauge on this team, but we're gonna get it anyways, because why not? All right, so Sufia's alt 10k. All right, Shion's gonna do a bit more against the 2 that are charmed, 37k. And then we'll send it all over here. Okay, and now we're going to be unbinded, which means we can take Isis out. Okay, that's an unfortunate hand right there. Instant damage, there's a heal. There's the charm, and then the vitalization, so there's alts. Not the alt for Shion, though. That's kind of unfortunate. There's not much we can really do about this turn, huh? Let's... what do I want to do here? Let's just kind of get these out. Let's get these Isis orbs out of here. I don't really want them here. And then next turn we'll hopefully be able to bring in our other space units. Higher damaging space units, I guess. I should rephrase that. Okay, that works out. Shion and Sufi are going to get their alts because of the skill. There's that charm, there's that. Okay. Isis got it as well. Not that big of a deal. Let's bring you in. We'll get your alt, so let's take you... Let's do this. Okay. And then we'll bring you in for Isis. And then we'll just use the orange convert here. And... alt gauge? Alt gauge for funsies? I mean, I guess I don't need to right now. Well, no one is critting on this team, which doesn't really matter that much. But we are alting. I do want to alt when everybody has, so I don't want to use this now. How many orbs do I have for Shizu? We only have the 1. We're going to get 15% plus the 40 plus the 30, so 70, 85. Not quite enough. Yeah, we'll use it anyways, why not? Alright, there's 30%. Unnecessary. Let's refresh the Ramura skill on the other 2 and add it to Shizu. And then we'll send these. We still have the Pierce buff going on, so that's good. And then next turn, we can actually reset all of these skills that have been used, and that'll be very, very efficient. 13k, 42k, and that's because of the alt resistance down. That's why we did so much more damage. Does Valentine die here? No, she's going to heal back a lot. Oh, that's... okay, perfect. Absolutely perfect. I don't really care about her getting hit. Heal up a little bit, because I actually want to make this go a little longer. There's the charm, there's the vitalization, so there's the alts. Perfect. And now, This is a 65 cost skill now. That's quite expensive for a team that can only get to 140. But we can use this because, you know, Shion's Pierce buff is gone, the Charms effects are gone, but let's reset literally every single one of these skills back down to its minimum, except for the orange orb change. And that is, I think, a very, very good showing of using that skill efficiently. So let's put a charm on you. Let's put a charm on you. Right, okay, I'll charm that one. We'll do it out of order. We'll charm that just to make sure we can. We'll charm you. And then we'll Pierce buff. And then we'll do the orange orb change. Alright. And I don't need to use Rammers because we got so much alt gauge coming, and I don't need to use any other skills. So here we go. We're gonna turn this off so we can actually watch the animation for Shizu. So we'll do that, and then the AoE follow-ups on Milim. Yeah, this should work out fairly well. Shizu. Again, it's a good-looking alt. Some people complain, some people don't. I'm totally fine with it. I think it does show a nice kind of bond between her and Hinata. And there is, you know, some differences to make them unique. Banishing Blader. It's an interesting name, though. Alright, 33k, not the biggest, but again, this team doesn't have a lot of buffs. It's more about just launching alt after alt after alt after alt. We don't need to watch this. 13k, 12k, and then Xian will, I think, clean up Milim. Should, on these orbs. This 200% orb should kill her. Should being the keyword. Okay, yeah, it did. There we go. And because we have the vitalization, Xian already has another alt, but then we have another alt right there. Attack down. Ooh, what are we going to do about that? Oh, I don't really care. Let's just use the alt damage resistance that has now been reset to its lower cost because of Shizu's other skill, which you cannot use now. And we'll go ahead and reapply this for 40 skill points. Do we have enough to use the alt buff? We do. We do indeed. We'll take Shizu out because she doesn't actually have an alt, and then we can end it with using the alt buff and the space resistance down, and then Xian can friggin' clean up. This worked out very well. I think this is a good segment to end on. Xian, yeah, we'll watch her cooking. I think I skipped it the first time. Okay, so I guess we'll just start the outro now while we're killing him. This Shizu is good on a few specific teams, but only a few specific teams right now because Magic Burst teams are a little bit limited. In the future, if more Magic Burst teams come out, whether or not they're green or blue or orange focused, Shizu will be a decent addition to that team. But for now, there's not enough for me to warrant her being like a you must summon on her. I think she's good. I don't think she's super ooper duper great, but I think she's good. And I hope that she gets better in the future. But for now, she is a very usable character. Her art style is great. Her animations are good. Her kit is interesting. But again, we'll have to kind of wait a few months to see if she gets any more help. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. That's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.